Welcome back. I caught up recently with Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. We discussed the infrastructure bill the Senate just passed. We also discussed what is happening in Cuba and the resignation of Andrew Cuomo. But we started with the COVID crisis here at home.
The outbreak and massive uptick that we've had with COVID in the state of Florida in the last few weeks is devastating. Devastating in the sense that it doesn't have to be this bad. It didn't have to be this bad. It's only going to get worse. And we have a governor who is the #1 public health threat in the state of Florida. And we have a governor whose highest priority right now seems to be making sure that we don't allow any public health protections to make sure that we can slow or stop the spread of the most virulent variant of COVID-19 that we've seen since the beginning of the pandemic. The fact that his #1 priority right now seems to be to prevent school districts from mandating that children and faculty and staff wear masks, which we know is the best protection from spreading the virus, just makes him culpable. I mean, he has this live and let die attitude and approach, which he's had the entire pandemic.
And then the thought of taking it a step further and then threatening school superintendents and board members that he'll take their salaries away from them if they do what they think is in the best interest of helping and protecting the children and the students and the staff in their schools. I mean, that just takes it to a level I haven't seen before.
That's what I mean when I say that this appears to be the fact that he has made preventing people from being kept safe as his highest priority. We know we can't stop the spread of the virus completely, but making sure that you promote vaccination, which he has stopped doing essentially, and also allow local officials to require masks, to require social distancing, to make the decisions that we know need to be made in order to keep people safe. It's just grossly irresponsible. And then to add insult to injury, he's treating COVID-19 like a beer joke. I mean, he's selling beer koozies on his campaign website that say, "Don't Fauci my Florida." Well, I would rather Fauci my Florida and make sure that we can stop the spread of COVID-19 than subject Floridians to death by DeSantis.
He's made the calculation that politically this is also good for him. He believes that this is a good strategy in his reelection, but looking beyond it, that this gives him that sort of national, profile that he may need if he runs for president in 2024.
And that's because Ron DeSantis cares about the Trumper Fox News cocoon that he lives in. And so when you are speaking in a very, closed loop environment and only care about people who hear your message in that closed loop environment, then as a result, you're going to make policy decisions that are responsive to the people who are making decisions and getting their information through the disinformation on Fox News and on the internet and on social media. And it's just a disgusting, dangerous, unacceptable position for a governor of a state to take. Again, we should be promoting vaccines. If anyone's listening to this interview, please get the vaccine. It is safe and effective.
Let's turn to the other big story this week, which was the passage of the infrastructure bill. It's now back into the House. How significant is this piece of legislation from your perspective?
The infrastructure legislation that passed the Senate is really historic. If we pass it in the House, which I believe we eventually will, it is the largest, most significant investment in infrastructure since the New Deal. And when we couple that with the reconciliation bill, which is a major funding package that will focus on the soft infrastructure, like making sure that we can provide child care assistance for families who need that help, making sure that we can invest in education and keeping people safe from COVID-19 and other healthcare virulent strains. It's just absolutely critical that we pass this legislation so that, because it's transformative.
You said a second ago, eventually, and that seems to be the question with regard to when the House will take up the infrastructure bill. You know, there are some moderate Democrats in the House who are saying, take it up now as a standalone bill, let's just get it passed and moved on. There are others in the party, I believe the Speaker's plan is to try to hold back a vote on the infrastructure bill until it can be passed along with the reconciliation, the budget bill, which is, I don't know, somewhere between 2 and 3 trillion.
3.5 trillion.
Yeah. Why not, if infrastructure is so critical, why not just go ahead and pass the infrastructure bill right now, next week, and get it moving, and then deal with the reconciliation bill on the rest of the budget later?
Well, on August 23rd, the House is going to go back into session, and we're going to take up the budget resolution. The House's version of the budget resolution will consider the Senate's version, and we also are going to take up H.R. 4, which is the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. And that's a critical piece of legislation that we must pass because, you know, Republicans have been engaged in a war on our democracy. We saw what happened on January 6th. We almost had an overthrow, an overturning of an election that was legitimate and was the most problem-free that we've had in modern times, certainly. And so we need to make sure that we are reestablishing the ability of everyone having equal access to the polls and push back on the really horrendous voter suppression that the Republicans have engaged in.
Why hold the infrastructure bill hostage to get the other two bills going through? Why not just deal with infrastructure?
No, this isn't at all about holding infrastructure hostage. What it's about is making sure that we take up the entire package that will transform the lives of Americans so that we can really amp up and put our economic recovery on steroids. And so if you do it in a piecemeal way, then we're not going to be able to have as much impact. And so, and quite frankly, the priorities of both the House and Senate Democratic majorities are to make sure that we can invest in a transformative way in our hard infrastructure so that we can invest in our pipes. I mean, in Fort Lauderdale, we have seen the sewage, the pipes burst in Fort Lauderdale with sewage leaks, several different times. We have aging infrastructure, our roads and bridges that have to be invested in. And then we have families that we have to invest in. And so it's both and, not either or. And so that's why that we need to make sure that the entire spectrum of impacting and improving the lives of our families in America is critical to take up. It's
now been 1 month since the uprisings that we saw in Cuba. Tell me where you think we're at, and why should there be any sort of divide between Democrats and Republicans when it comes to wanting a free and independent Cuba?
Let me just take that part of the question first, because what's been unbelievable to me is that you had that press conference last week that was attended by DeSantis and a number of other Republican elected officials, and they couldn't name one thing that they said that the president should be doing that he isn't already doing. Some of them actually, I think, favor military action, but Joe Biden has not only left the sanctions in place that the previous administration put in place, but he added more sanctions on. He's sanctioned individuals who are carrying out the oppression against the Cuban people on the island. He's sanctioned agencies like the Cuban Revolutionary Guard and the Black Berets, and he's focused on trying to make sure that we put a geek squad in place that will help expand access to the internet and make it more consistent. He's rallied our regional and international allies to stand in support of protecting the people of Cuba, demanding free and fair elections, pushing back on the regime. I'm very proud of the president, and I stand with our Cuban brothers and sisters in the fight for democracy and freedom, and the push to have the regime release political prisoners. 700 plus individuals were imprisoned as a result of those protests. What we need to do is continue to be supportive and focus on making sure that we can transform the horrendous conditions and the governance system in Cuba.
Can you give me your reaction to Cuomo's decision to resign effective in about a week and a half?
I think that was the only correct decision, and it was the right one. And by the way, I know Kathy Hochul really well. I served with her in Congress. She was my roommate for a time when she was serving in Congress briefly, and she's a wonderful person. And I know she's going to help carry on the important policies that I know Governor Cuomo was committed to, but certainly could not carry on himself.
The underlying allegations against the governor and that report that the AG issued, what was your reaction to hearing all of that?
Obviously, incredibly disturbing. I have said all along that a full investigation needed to be done. One was done, and so as a result, I think it was very clear that the governor had to resign.
We'll be right back.